What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. So today I figured I would release one after the Overwatch League, since my views usually get killed on Saturdays just because the Overwatch League starts so early. So I'm just going to test this out, see how this works. So if you're wondering why it's a late upload today, that's why. Now, it is also an interesting time to post a video because some games have already been played today, like the London Spitfire. They just 4-0'd the Shanghai Dragons. They looked very dominant, and it's not because the Shanghai Dragons aren't good. It's mainly because the London Spitfire are so damn good. And you know, after that win against Seoul Dynasty, they are on a high of confidence. And there's almost nothing more deadly than a high of confidence, guys. Let me tell you, confidence can do so much for a player and for your team. If everybody is feeling unstoppable and you guys can take on the world, then you will take on the world. Sure, at a certain point, you don't want to get too overconfident to where it's kind of cockiness that's coming off. But I don't think they will do that. They have coaches. They have a full infrastructure behind them. I think the coaches and the management understand how to keep these players level-headed. But again, overall, there's just this air of confidence throughout the team. You can see it in other sports like the NFL. When teams are just hot, everybody is clicking on all cylinders and they're ready to go. All right, so there's a little sneak peek and my opinion about the London Spitfire right now. We are going to get more in detail about that tomorrow in our video, so you guys have that to look forward to tomorrow. And basically for today, we are going to talk about the whole effect situation, what went down yesterday, why he was banned, what I think about it, and how I think the situation should have been handled. And after that, we're going to move on to the Seoul Dynasty and Houston Outlaws game from yesterday, which was absolutely amazing. I was super excited about how close it was, so we're going to get in detailed about that game as well. So strap in, boys. I know it's kind of been a long intro here. I went on a few things, but be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, Overwatch League content daily. I will not miss a day, boys. We are on that grind. And again, I just want to say I appreciate everybody's support. So let's go ahead and hop into this video. Alright, so starting off with the effect ban. Now, I don't want to get too much into this and cover this whole video about this ban because, I don't know, it feels kind of weird. The situation is still kind of question marks. There's a bunch of like translations. Apparently some translations are wrong, so I'm not really going to show anything. So basically the gist of it is that effect is banned in game for about 2 days, and I think it mainly comes down to him reporting one tricks and just abusing the report system, similar to how XQC was banned. Again, there's other translations out there saying that he was interfering with the game and just a whole bunch of kind of weird stuff. I don't know. Mainly what I got out of it was that he was banned for reporting one tricks and abusing the report system. Now, my opinion on this, I mean, it's weird because there was that situation about last week where Effect like wrote an open letter or whatever that Reddit thread was, and then Jeff from Blizzard actually responded, and then they decide to ban him after doing that. It's just weird for them to ban him after doing that act. That's what I don't understand. Kind of an odd situation, but it is what it is. He's banned in-game. He's not banned from the Overwatch League, nothing like that, which he definitely shouldn't be. I don't think in-game reports should correlate to the Overwatch League unless someone is being, you know, very, very toxic in-game, flaming people, saying very vulgar things, stuff like that. One thing that I do believe Blizzard should be doing is coming out with, you know, a PR statement, saying something about this type of situation. You can't really ban an Overwatch League player in-game and not say anything about it. You have to come out, you have to say, hey, listen, so us at the Blizzard Overwatch team, we reviewed some reports coming in about the player Effect from Dallas Fuel, and you know, he's been a little toxic towards one tricks, or you know, we've been looking at this account and the player Effect from the Dallas Fuel has been reporting too many players for unjustable reasons, and because of this, we are going to suspend his account in-game for 2 days, which makes so much more sense for them to do something like that rather than just banning him and letting people speculate and go wild. It kind of just causes chaos and panic throughout the community. You know, people just pretty much speculate too much. I already said that. I believe Blizzard could have handled this a bit better, and on Effect's part, I don't know Korean, so it's really hard to say what his tweets were, and the translations were apparently off. So we're just going to leave this situation at that. What do you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments. Do you think he should be banned? Alright, so let's move on to the next topic, and pretty much the main topic of this video, which is the Houston Outlaws and the Seoul Dynasty match. Are Seoul Dynasty slipping? Are they falling off? Or are the Houston Outlaws really, really good? So heading into this match, the result was kind of up in the air and we didn't know what to expect, especially after the Seoul Dynasty had been completely crushed by the London Spitfire a day before. Those games were just not even close. Seoul Dynasty had some very questionable coaching decisions, specifically as to playing Jito over Ryu Jae-hong in arguably one of their most important matches of Stage 1. Definitely something that I personally did not understand, and I know a lot of you guys didn't. Felt like they kind of robbed us from a really good match, and I was hoping to see that. And then from the game on Wednesday with the Houston Outlaws and the San Francisco Shock, Linkser was actually sick, and Mendo was out because of his wisdom teeth. So they were missing their main key role DPS player who pretty much flexes onto everything and plays it at such a good level. And then they couldn't sub that in with Mendo, and it pretty much just left them with Clockwork. Now, I definitely thought this would be a big hit to them. I knew they would still beat the San Francisco Shock, probably 3-2, 3-1, and they did. But going on to Seoul Dynasty, I was a little worried for them. I didn't think they would have much of a shot without Linkser. And then, again, that game happened with the London Spitfire and Seoul Dynasty, where they literally just got absolutely crushed. So after that game, I was left sitting here like, wow, I have no idea what's going to happen in this set. Is Ryu Jae-hong going to play? Is Linkser going to play? Who knows, like, what is going to happen? And then Friday came along, and we heard that Linkser and Mendo were both going to still be out, and Clockwork would be starting. So that was very interesting. After that Seoul Dynasty game, I still felt the Houston Outlaws could put up a decent fight. Though that being said, just a decent fight because Seoul Dynasty would more than likely play Ryu Jae-hong. I don't think they would make a mistake 2 days in a row, not running the best player in the game pretty much, if not the second best. Obviously, that was a questionable decision, but I don't think they're dumb. I think they know that they should be playing Ryu Jae-hong, so they did. And going into that match, you know, I thought Seoul Dynasty would probably take it 3-1, maybe even 4-0, because just having a player like Linkser not be able to play is so big. And I'm not trying to take any props away from Clockwork. He played okay, but like, we're comparing basically a tier 3 DPS player in the Overwatch League to a tier 1. And again, I'm not trying to tear apart Clockwork, but it's just plain and simple. The guy is nowhere near Linkser's level. If we look at the statistics from yesterday, we can see that Clockwork just really didn't perform up to par. If you spectated him at pretty much any point in the game, you could tell he wasn't just having that big of an impact on the game. And we're actually going to take a look at the stats a little bit later. First, let's go ahead and get into the games. So starting off on Eichenwald, the Houston Outlaws looked pretty damn good. And Seoul Dynasty, they looked a little stagnant. They didn't look like themselves in this map. Of course, Houston Outlaws, they're very good at Eichenwald. Having Jake on your team, pretty much one of the best Junkrats in the entire league, is a huge advantage because Junkrat is so powerful in this map. Pretty much you can run him on every single stage and not worry about needing to swap. And Jake just looked great in general, as well as Cole Mount on this map. And Clockwork, probably this was his best map played. It still came down to the last fights. It was very close, but I was really impressed with the Houston Outlaws. Jake, again, the Junkrat, was insane. So moving on to 2CP, I was a little worried for Seoul Dynasty, honestly, considering we were going to Horizon Colony, and Junkrat is very good on this map, and Houston Outlaws have beaten Seoul Dynasty on this map before. I definitely thought the Houston Outlaws were going to go into a 2-0 lead, but Wakid looked very good. He's been coming in off the bench for Seoul Dynasty, and he's dropping bombs. He's performing very well for them, especially on that Genji role. I really like Wakid as a player, and I think the way Seoul Dynasty are running him is definitely smart, and they need to keep that up. So this was kind of a one-sided affair here for Seoul Dynasty. Houston put up somewhat of a fight, but they just really weren't able to get anything going on their attack, and Seoul Dynasty tied up the series. Now, moving on to Ilios, this was a very one-sided map. Seoul Dynasty, like I said earlier in the video, just absolutely dominated on control. Clockwork tried to play the Widowmaker, but that just did not go well. You know, Fletta's obviously the best Widowmaker in the league. He went 18-2 on this map, 10-1 on the Widowmaker, which is just insane to think about. So basically, when you put Fletta on Widowmaker on the best Widowmaker map against somebody who really doesn't play Widowmaker, who is a tier 3 sub DPS in the Overwatch League, it's not going to be pretty. And we all saw that. Seoul Dynasty completely rolled over the Houston Outlaws on this map. And that's pretty much it. We got to move on to Junkertown. Another map where Junkrat is very relevant, and Jake definitely put in work again. Cool map, Muma looked really good on this map as well. Muma's Orisa, definitely one of the best in the Overwatch League. Statistically, I think he's ranked #1. I'll have to check that out. But in general, Houston Outlaws look good on this map. I've said it before, Seoul Dynasty historically has struggled on Junkertown, so I expected the Houston Outlaws to take this map after they won Eichenwald. Clockwork looked alright. Again, just guy was outclassed. I hate really harping on him because he's not a horrible player. He's good enough to be in the Overwatch League, but like he's good enough for his role. He basically got put into a terrible situation where he had to go up against one of the best teams in the entire league, playing things he's not comfortable on. That's not his role. His role in the league right now is basically being a tracer bot, and he's just not the same player Linkser is, and that's pretty much all there is to that. They won Junkertown. Moving on to the last map, we were going into Lijiang Tower, and I was pretty worried for the Houston Outlaws after they lost so badly on Elios. I didn't know if they would be able to get a footing in the ground. Luckily for us, though, it wasn't a complete stomp. They did end up getting one round, and on Control Center, when it was tied up 1-1, they had one team fight when Seoul Dynasty was around 50% on the control meter, where they could have won. It was super close. It went back and forth for about 2 minutes. It looked like the Houston Outlaws were going to win that team fight and take over the map with an ultimate advantage. But Zunba on the Zarya, holy crap, man. We don't get to see much Zarya play as of recently just because of the meta. But on Control Center, we sometimes get to see it. And Zunba put a show on. He was nearly unkillable. I was just sitting there. They were spectating. I'm like, oh my god, Houston needs to kill this guy. Why is he still alive? Jake, take him out. Take him out. And the guy lived for so long. It was about 30 seconds. High energy, just destroying people. And he single-handedly turned that fight around for his team. And they went on and just 100-0'd them on Control Center. Seoul Dynasty took the set 3-2. And it was a very fun set to watch. It was extremely close. When Houston Outlaws was playing good, they looked really good. And when Seoul Dynasty was playing good, they looked really good. It was more of a match that wasn't really back and forth, but just a series of teams dominating where they are good at. And I can't help but feel bad for the Houston Outlaws. If they had Linkser, they could have won this match. I 100% believe it. Because on these control maps, Linkser is their backbone. The player who flexes on all those heroes is the backbone of the team. And that's Linkser. He goes from the Widowmaker to the Tracer to the McCree to the Pharah. Linkser plays pretty much everything for these guys, and when you lose that flexibility on a player going into control, it's not going to be good. So they were at a major disadvantage not having Linkser. I believe the control maps would have been much closer if he was there, but at the end of the day, like Tyrong said in a tweet, he wasn't there, so we can't really speculate and say they would have won. Seoul Dynasty took the win. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stats and talk about Ryujihong. And holy crap, this man performed out of his mind. He was on a tear. I think he was upset about not being played yesterday. I mean, I'm sure he understood the decision and agreed with the decision that the Seoul Dynasty's coaching and management made to play Jita over him, because I'm sure if he had disagreed with it and said, I want to play, Seoul Dynasty's management coaching probably would have been like, all right, Ryujihong, you can play. But he must have went in with the idea and said, yeah, you know, maybe it is a smart idea. Maybe we can catch London Spitfire off guard by not playing me. Who knows, maybe it's a good idea. But once you lose like 2 maps, even one, throw Ryujihong in there. Don't play all 4 maps without running him. And I'm sure by the 4th map, Ryujihong must have been thinking, man, maybe if I was playing, we could have done much better. And he definitely came out with a vengeance in this game. I've never seen a Zenyatta with these stats. Holy crap, the guy had the best rating in the entire server. He went 30 and 27 on Zenyatta. He was getting kills left and right. I think this was the best single performance by a Zenyatta in the entire league so far. Yet again, Ryujihong just proves the whole entire league, the whole entire world, everyone watching, that he is without a doubt the best support player in the entire world, and if not just support, the best player, period. So basically, yeah, Ryujihong is just a freak of nature. I don't know how he does it. The man is so good at the game. The game was much closer than the stats tell. I think it's mainly because the Elios match was so dominant for them, and Lijiang, they had just 2 crazy 100-0 rounds. And looking at the side of the Houston Outlaws, we have Clockwork here, 49 and 59. We all know Linkser would have had a better stat line than that. He would have got much more kills, and it's just so hard to sit here and not speculate and say they would have done better with Linkser in. You know, you guys probably agree with me. It was too close for comfort, man. The Houston Outlaws didn't have Linkser. It was 3-2, a nail biter. They very well could have lost this set. And I think for a lot of people, Seoul Dynasty isn't looking like the team that they all thought they were. For me, personally, though, I knew this would happen. I knew that teams like Seoul Dynasty, New York Excelsior, and the London Spitfire would eventually drop games and just not look immortal. which makes sense. You can't go an entire season without losing games. And I'm talking about a season, let alone a stage, guys. There's 10 games to be played. You practically play every single team. So at a certain point, every single team is not going to look at their best. We can all sit here and dwell and say, Seoul Dynasty, wow, they need to get their crap together. They need to look better. First, they lost to New York Excelsior, then they lost to the London Spitfire, and that was just a complete stomp. Now they're kind of barely beating Houston Outlaws when Houston Outlaws doesn't have Linkser. Now, I don't think this is due to the fact that Seoul Dynasty is slipping or falling off. I think it's due to the fact that the Houston Outlaws are in fact a good team, regardless of them having Linkser or Clockwork. They're just flat out a good team and a good competitor, and Seoul Dynasty knew this heading into this game. That's why they've constantly praised the Houston Outlaws and their players. And it's basically impossible for a team to go throughout an entire stage looking unstoppable, untouched. And honestly, I freaking love it, man. I am so excited. I'm so happy that there isn't just that 1, 2, 3 powerful Korean teams destroying everybody. I'm so excited that the Philadelphia Fusion, the Boston Uprising, the Houston Outlaws are giving all these teams a run for their money and beating them. It was what I expected, it was what I wanted, and it's what we're getting, and it's great. I love it. So I think we all need to just chill out, relax, and realize that Seoul Dynasty are good, London Spitfire are good, New York are good, Boston is good, Philadelphia is good, Houston is good, Los Angeles is good. There's so many good teams in the league, and everybody can be anyone at any time. That's why it's so hard to predict these games. Going into the regular season, nobody expected the Dallas Fuel to be a bad team. I mean, I didn't expect them to be a bad team either, but I knew they would struggle with some teams here and there because that's the nature of this league. Every team has the same advantage, the same opportunity. They live in the same daily lives. Yeah, some of them are different players, some are more skilled, some have better coaches, some have better management, stuff like that. But in general, overall, all these teams and players are being put in similar situations, and it's all about what you make of your situation. If your team is working hard, grinding, you have the talent, then you're gonna be a good team. And so many of these teams have that talent. So at the end of the day, the Seoul Dynasty are not slipping. Come playoff time, they're going to be a very strong team. They could very well win the whole thing, which is similar to the New York Excelsior, the London Spitfire, Houston Outlaws, Philadelphia Fusion, and on and on and on. And that's pretty much it, guys. I know I kind of went off near the end of the video. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that no, Seoul Dynasty is not slipping. Every team is competitive in the league, and we're getting the best Overwatch, and the league is going fantastically so far. So if you guys enjoy my videos, if you love my channel, be sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe for more daily content, and leave a comment in the video. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.